Security hardening strategy is what we will look at in this module. So for security hardening, there needs to be some method about it and how we will go about it, because the IT assets are numerous and there are a lot of them. So how do we harden all the IT assets? Where do we begin? Which ones first? Depending upon the size and type of the organization, there will be dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of IT assets. For example, a large organization would have hundreds of switches, maybe almost 1,000 sites or 1,000 routers. Priority is a key factor in all the security undertakings. So priority, whenever you are implementing security, you always have to ask your question, what's the priority? What can I do first? Because there are lots of tasks to do, but we don't have the entire organizational resources to do everything at the same time. You have to select what to do first and what to do next. And that is prioritization. Prioritize what is most important and needs to be done first, or you can also do the low-hanging fruit so that you pick up some momentum in the project. Cascade as we go along. Start one leg of the project and then test it, implement it, and then it may take 4 months. When you get some time, start the other leg of the project. Test it, do a pilot, and initiate that project, and that could take 3 months. And then you initiate all these projects which are cascaded in parallel. So this is the organizational architecture diagram. And let's take a look at what type of devices, for example, we will have. So these are the routers and the UTMs. And then you have the firewalls, which are on the edge and the data center. And then you have the switches. And then you have the servers in the data center and in the DMZ, for example, the web server. And finally, you have the computers or the workstations, which are also there. So what priority should we adopt? Let's take another look. First of all, what you need to do while we consider what to do first, separate the security engineering, which is step number 3, from security hardening, which is step number 1. Security engineering, step number 3, is going very much deep and doing hard tasks which are complex, which take up a lot of design, planning, effort, and because they are complex, they're difficult to do, and they could also fail. We don't want to do those first. We'd want to do security hardening first. Security engineering requires more thorough working, so we'll slow you down and will slow down the security implementation of the project. Do the low-hanging fruit, the security hardening first, which the whole world does. It's an international best practice. The minimum security baseline refers to the obvious assets which need to be secured, and the threshold, which is the minimum expectation from the security program. So you ask yourself this question, what is obvious? What needs to be done first? I mean, it's called a no-brainer. For example, we have all these assets, but we need to secure the routers and the servers. That's a no-brainer. It's a minimum security baseline, right? So that's what you do first. So let's look at the sequence now in this diagram. What we could do with this organization is, first we can do the routers and the UTM devices because these are edge devices. Then we could go to the servers because they're obviously very important. They have critical data, and the server in the DMZ and server in the data center. Then we could move to the firewalls, which is at the edge and is implementing certain policies in the form of access control, in terms of access lists, for example. And the data center switch firewall, which is blocking illegitimate traffic, unwanted traffic, and is restricting traffic by port, destination, and source, which is being accessed for the data center servers. Then we could go to the switches. There are hundreds and thousands of switches, for example. And the organization may be small. There may be very few number of switches. And finally, moving to the workstations and the mobile devices. So the next question arises that how do we structure, because there are so many types of devices, and normally the important thing is that all these devices, the owner is someone else. It's a different owner in IT. For example, the servers are being looked after by a different team, the network is being looked after by a different team, and the mobile devices are being looked after by a different team. The software developed is being looked after by a different team. So we divide the project into tracks which run in parallel, and you do the hardening of these tracks in parallel. IT infrastructure, ISMS documentation and processes, software applications. Track 4 would be, for example, the ERP system. Track 5, desktops and browsers. Track 6, vulnerability management. And track 7, mobile security. So you structure the project so you can keep track of the activities. And for a successful security transformation project, good planning, good structure, good organization and effective project management is very, very essential. So a lot of making the security project successful is about organizing and being disciplined and having a good strategy and good execution. Thank you.